On today's episode of Monetize the Mic, I could not be more excited to bring on Vasavi Kumar, who is a self-expression and confidence coach and founder of the Real Rich community. Through her membership community and podcast, Being Human with Vasavi, she helps entrepreneurs feel more confident on camera and clear in their creative process. And Vasavi and I have a special connection because way back in the day when I was just starting Interview Connections and I was a little booking agent with no team and I was booking guests for my clients, I was booking guests on Matt Terrio's podcast, The Do-Over Show. And I'm doing my research. And then I came across this woman named Vasavi and I reached out. I think we even had a little call and I was like, my client would like to interview you. And you were like, yeah, sounds great. So then cut 8 years later, my team's connecting with Vasavi for interviews and you reach out and here we are, Vasavi's working with us. And it's just so great to reconnect after all this time. So welcome to Monetize the Mic.
My face hurts from smiling so much. Thank you for having me. I love this. I love reminiscing, going back and feeling nostalgic. And it's such an honor to be here because when you reminded me that you had booked me on the Do-Over Show, and then your team from Interview Connections were, pitching your clients to me, I was like, who is this company? And I need them in my life. Because I know the importance of my message and what I have to say and the shit that I've been through. Can I curse? I'm going to curse.
Yeah, sure.
It's already happened. Yeah, I'll try not to. I will, clean. I'll try to be clean. And then I reached out to y'all and I'm like, I need you in my life to help me get my message out. So here we are. And thank you for having me here, Jess.
Yeah, I'm so excited because, what you help people with is so relevant to this audience because what I hear time and time again, I've done thousands of consultation calls. I've talked to thousands of entrepreneurs who want to be on podcasts, right? Like they signed up for a masterclass, like, yeah. Like everyone, it's like our sales coach says, like, you have a very sexy business. Like people are like, podcasting, right? But then when push comes to shove and you're like, cool, are you going to invest and commit? People are like, oh, well, and there's all these reasons, like, oh, my message isn't there yet. Like, I'm not actually successful enough to be your client. Like all this stuff comes up. And I'm like, it's imposter syndrome. And that's what you help people with. So would love for you to really preach to us here and go where we need to take people to help them have a breakthrough today.
Where do I even begin? Right? Because I think when people see what you have to offer, and I think it sparks something inside of us. We didn't go into business to stay hidden, right? We went into business specifically, whether you're a thought leader, expert, coach, you're in the business of helping transform other people's lives, right? So you've taken that first step, but now you're in a place where you're like, shoot, people really don't know I exist. I have so much stuff that I want to say. I know that I've been through things that I know can help other people who are maybe going through similar journeys. And then when it's time to actually invest in the service or the coaching or the mentorship or whatever that's actually going to help you in the next season of your life, we're like, wait a minute, am I actually worth it? And so here's how I think we need to start thinking. Instead of looking at who you are today and making the investment in who you are today, you got to think about the future you. And you got to think about, well, what would future me be investing in? What would it take for me to get to future me? Right? Future me is on stage. Future me is going on book tours. Future me is getting interviewed on podcasts. Okay, so would future me approve of this investment? Absolutely. You right now is a little small-minded in your thinking. You right now are just kind of in your shit and you're like, no, I'm not worth it. Future you has way bigger plans for you. My father always said to me, if God showed you the next 10 steps of your life, you would probably be so scared, right? You would be so scared. And that's why you have to take one step at a time. It has to be it's like, keep that future vision, but it's like a every day, one day at a time, action step, action step, action step. But you got to keep that vision in mind, that future you, and
yes.
Then based on that, you make your decisions.
Yes, absolutely. I tell people that all the time. You have to invest for where you're going, not for where you've been. That just came up recently with a client, this hesitation of like, but my revenue wasn't that high this year, but her goal is to triple it. I'm like, well, if your goal is to triple it, you need to invest in accordance with where you want to go. So it's definitely looking at where you're going, not where you are right now. I would love for you to share a little bit about your story and like your journey and how you got to this place where you are you're also a therapist as well. So you're very qualified to really talk about what people are going through. And you also just live such an amazing life. Like you're an actor, you've been, on like reporting on the news, like you dance, like you're just so amazing. So just share a little bit about you. I'm like Vasavi fan club, number one.
Jessica Rhodes is the CEO of the Vasavi fan club. You have two businesses now.
Yes.
So I appreciate you saying I have an amazing life, because there was a time where I didn't. I'm someone who has deeply hated herself for a very long time. So what you see now is fresh, to be honest. I never want people to look at my life and be like, well, I can't have that. No, I don't think you understand how much I used to hate myself. Like, I please do not look at this and put me on this pedestal like, oh, I can't have this. I used to hate myself. And, I think it was most apparent to me how much I disrespected and loathed myself when I had to go to rehab, right? I had to go to rehab not once, but twice for my little relationship that I had with cocaine. And so cocaine became a huge part of my life. It took over. It killed my spirit. Not all the way, but it did kill my spirit. And I had to confront the ugliest parts of myself, the parts of myself that I would soothe with cocaine, right? So for me, who you see today, playing tennis, going to Cancun to play tennis, doing stand-up comedy. I just did my first open mic on Monday. I had a face spasm. I actually stuttered on stage. It was mortifying. I get nervous. And I had a little nervousness come up. I killed my set, but I had a face spasm on stage. I will go into that later. All the things that you see, me dancing, hip hop, I'm going on vacation. Mm-hmm. This is not just, I didn't wake up like this. These are moment to moment decisions and choices that I have made that basically sound like, Vasavi, this is it. This is your life right here. No one is coming to hand you shit. No husband, no rich husband, no PR person's coming knocking on your door. If you want to, be on different people's platforms, start by building your own platform. Start talking about the things that matter on your platform. Oh, you have a cool service like Interview Connections. Oh, wow. You have to spend this much money a month and, they're booking you on this. Okay. Keep the end in mind. Okay. So it's like, there's like two parts to this, Jessica. It's like, whatever you're going through in your life right now, it's so easy to be in that small, stuck, resistant thinking. And I know that, but I believe inside each and every one of us, I believe this, no matter how in the shitter you may feel, there's that voice inside of us, and hopefully it's not completely silent to you, that has always said to you, you can do better. You can do better. This isn't you. You can do better, right? That's the voice that we ignore. That's the voice that we say, shut up, stop it. Oh, I'm going to make excuses, or no, I'm not. But that voice, which I will call the voice of God inside of me, is the voice that got me through my, 2 stints in rehab and getting arrested and a miscarriage and a divorce and mental health issues and all the shit. It's that little voice inside of me that was like, you can do this. Stop lying to yourself. That's the voice that we need to listen to more, right? Because that other voice that's like, and by the way, I am not a proponent of killing our ego. I don't believe in killing our ego. My ego is my wounded inner child that is shit scared. We have to become partners with our ego. So when my little girl, my inner child, and I'm going to put up a picture, and I know I always show this. There she is. She's so cute.
Aww. I love
She's always very afraid that we're going to be made fun of, right? So when I wanted to go do open mic, stand-up comedy, she's inside there like, are people going to make fun of us? Oh my God, we were teased incessantly growing up. We can't do that. I, as the parent, have to come in, the adult, and say, we're going to be okay. So whatever that resistance that you're experiencing, whether it's to invest in a coach, mentorship, whether it's to start pitching yourself, it's not just about strategy, right? Strategy without a sense of self is pointless. So I want your listeners to hear that, you're not lazy, you're not unmotivated, you're not a loser, you're scared. You are scared of looking stupid. You are scared of failing. You don't trust that you have what it takes to actually be successful. And that is what we need to really get curious about. And that's what we have to that's when we actually have to say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show myself what I'm made of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. And I think it's also, you can do better. And also you can do more and you can have more fun. I think that's something that I, hear a lot. And, one of the things that I've started doing, like literally I signed up for dance class this past year. I did 2 rounds of tap dance. And then I was thinking, I was even saying to the teacher, I'm like, I'd love for you guys to offer adult jazz because I want to try out a different dance. And then they posted they're doing adult jazz. Like, I guess I have to sign up. I kind of asked for this.
You do.
So I'm like, okay.
And also I will say this movement of the body. And so here's what I know to be true about myself, but I think pretty much for the entire world. We are walking around with dysregulated nervous systems. Every single one of us are walking around with waiting for the next jolt to our nervous system. The greatest gift that I could have given myself is learning how to soothe myself, right? I grew up in an Indian household. My mother is scary as shit. I'm about to be 40 and I'm still terrified of my mother. I love her to death. She scares the hell out of me. So I'm pretty much on edge most of the time, waiting to be yelled at, right? My thing is, please don't yell at me. Please don't be mad at me. I didn't screw up, right? Because my mom, she not only slapped the shit out of us, she also yelled at us, right? So I'm like, please do not slap me. Like the proverbial slap, right? So it's like we're walking around so scared. And so the greatest gift I can give myself and what I want your listeners to hear is like, learn how to soothe yourself, because when your body feels calm, your confidence, like all those fears that you have kind of just dissipate, right? It's just like, oh, I'm safe. I'm good. I can do this. I can invest. I can take that next step. I can go to that dance class. I can pitch myself. I'm safe. Whether you say yes or no, whether you laugh at my jokes or no, I'm going to be okay. The I am going to be okay is something that I say to myself out loud because I still have my moments of anxiety. Are you kidding me? Right? Like, and I say, Vas, we're okay. We got this. We got this. And I say it out loud because I need what I am for everybody else in my life. I'm a great coach to all my clients. I need me for me. I need a Vasavi. Oh, wait, that's me. Oh, yeah, I can be that for myself. Vasavi, you got this. That's what I do for my clients, right? So I want your listeners to really get this. It's like, be the person for you that you are for everybody else. You will be okay.
Oh my gosh, like full body chills as you're talking.
Full body chills.
Full body chills. Love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we just actually did an episode with Elizabeth Kristoff. We actually played her interview that Marky did on her podcast, We Get It, Your Dad Died. She talked all about that, dysregulated nervous system. So that is so, so true. And I definitely have learned so much about the nervous system over the last year and have become really, because it's been so required. I was getting myself into such a state of threat whenever something stressful would happen. I get the body shakes, the threat response, and learning how to calm the nervous system. And sometimes it's literally just saying out loud, like you just said, I am safe. I am safe, And so I would just highly encourage everyone, whether it's dance, like my daughter has the game Just Dance on PlayStation. We were doing it last night. Like, it's so silly, but it literally just moving your body like that calms the nervous system. It helps so much. So I want you to share more about your open mic night because your stand-up comedy night, because it sounds like there's a story there. And I think that the greatest lesson we could give our listeners here today is you got to get outside your comfort zone. You got to tap into creativity because it just helps you grow so much.
I want to share this story in a way that, and I want to train you to listen to this story in 2 ways. I want you to hear the content, but I also want you to look at the bigger picture of how this applies to you. Don't get so stuck in my content that you're resistant to the message. Okay. So I grew up in an all-white town, pretty much on Long Island. And I was teased incessantly about, oh, your dad's Apu from The Simpsons, or does your dad drive to work on a camel? Does, good evening, 7-Eleven Slurpee, so can I have a Slurpee? Making fun of my mom because she had a red dot on her forehead. She wore a red dot. Or my name is Vasavi. Is it Vagisil? Is it Vaselina? What's your name? I was teased for who I was and what I look like from a very young age. I was terrified of white people. I have plenty of white friends. A lot of my clients are white. But being the only Indian, when I walk into a room, the first thing I do is scan the room and see, am I the only brown person here? Am I the only person of color here? Okay. So I thought I got over it. I'm going to be honest. I thought I did a lot of healing on it and healed through it. But on Monday, this past Monday, I set a goal for this quarter to do 30 open mics and get more connected in the bar scene, comedy scene, meet the managers, be in a showcase. Great. Boss is keeping promises to herself in 2022. Awesome, right? I have this beautiful 5-minute comedy set. It's called My Tight Five. It's great. It's memorized. It's in my cells. I got it. I get to open mic on Monday. And I'm number 4 on the list. I'm one of 3 girls. I'm the only Indian person. There's one other black guy, 2 other black guys, me, everyone else is white in the audience. So I get up on stage and I'm like soothing myself before they call my name. And every single traumatic memory is like, oh my God, are they going to mispronounce my name? Because in school growing up, substitute teachers be like, Vasavi, is your name Vasavi? How do I say your name? All the shit from childhood is coming up. Fuck, they're going to mess up my name. Oh my God. Oh, I'm the only Indian person. Do people even have any Indian friends in Austin? Like I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm like, all the things. It's like not 39-year-old adult mature Vasavi, right? I am maybe 8 years old at this point. Also, I should tell you, I grew up in a very chaotic house where my parents didn't like have peaceful conflict or, they didn't know how to deal with conflict. My mom would blow up. My father would stay silent. I often played the mediator between my parents from a young age. At the age of 4, you should not be playing therapist to your parents. Note to self, by the way. So anyway, that was my role. Anyway, here I am about to get called up on stage. So I get on stage and I said to God, all right, let's make people laugh. This is not about me. This is about the people. Then I get on stage. I get my mic. I'm holding my mic. I get my mic, do the thing, put the stand behind me. I say the first, and I look into the audience. Everyone's white. I'm like, fuck. Everyone, I'm like, I just feeling, but I'm like, we got this. We know this set. I say the first line of my set, which is, I feel like I'm in perpetual therapy. That's the first line of my comedy set. The second line of my comedy set is, I can talk to y'all, right? So that's how I engage with my audience. Between the first sentence and the second sentence, I got so nervous that I literally had a face spasm on stage. So I wouldn't have what you call a stuttering problem, Jess. It's called an audible inhalation where literally my whole nervous system, it's so dysregulated in that moment because I'm so nervous about what are people thinking? Everyone here is white. I'm back to being 8 years old again. What is the chaos? So I actually made a reel about this on my Instagram and I zoom in on my face spasm. I couldn't get the word out. So it's like an opposite of a stutter. I don't stutter over words. I just stutter over my own air and my breath. Long story short, I got through my whole set. I did. I killed it. I memorized it, punchlines, everything was great. And so after the set was over, got in my car, started wailing like a baby, wailing like my inner child. My 8-year-old was like, I cannot believe you put me through that. I cannot believe you embarrassed me like that. So this was such a beautiful moment for me to heal that part of myself and to talk to that young girl inside of me. This is what I want your listeners to hear. Who are you so terrified of? Right? Because for me, it's white people. I'm fucking scared of white people. Like not 39-year-old confident Vasavi, camera confident, not this wise Vasavi that you see. 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old, 17-year-old in high school when all the girls weren't nicer. She's afraid of white girls. She's afraid of white people. And if you're white, please don't take this personally. It's just an opportunity for you to look at who am I afraid of? Who am I afraid of looking stupid in front of? Who terrifies me so much that I'd rather hide than be out there? And for me, see, when it comes to my business, us doing podcast interviews like this, talking about confidence, I'm good here because this is my zone of genius. This is my wheelhouse. But comedy, being vulnerable, being live in person, we're on Zoom right now, right? There's like a barrier between us. I'm cool. I'm safe in my house. Being exposed on stage in front of a group of white people that I don't know, trying to make you laugh. I make fun of white people in my comedy set. It's like all the things, but I did it anyway. The point of my story is I got up, I had a full-blown face spasm on stage. Literally my jaw hurts. It does. It's something I'm working on. I got to work on this because I can feel it being an obstacle for me or an excuse for me to not continue. It's not, I'm going to keep going. But my point that I want everyone to hear is really, who are you afraid of in the audience? Who's the person, what's the image of that person in the audience? For me, it's like kids from high school, kids from middle school that teased me. That's who I'm afraid of in the audience. It's not my mom or dad. I'm not afraid of my parents or my family. That's not my shit. My shit is white people in the audience. What is yours? Who are you afraid of?
That's so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And we'll definitely link to your Instagram so everyone can see that reel. I think the other thing that I've done that I'm wondering if you can speak to is really being curious to find out what that inner child is scared of, because you're very clear about it. And I think for some listeners, they might not be clear. And I've had to do this on my own, like literally this morning, like asking those questions of, I called it my, why am I like this journaling? Not like, why am I like this?
That's good, Jess. I really like, why am I like this? What got me here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, it was just looking back on like, okay, when in my life, where in my life am I like this? And yeah, just asking those questions. Do you have any advice for our listeners on how they can discover what they're afraid of? Because I think on surface level, they might not know.
Listen, it's going to be so simple. This is like the $1 million answer. I literally want you to ask yourself, take a bath. I've been really getting into baths. I never thought I'd be one of those chicks.
Love a bath.
I made my entire primary bathtub into a spa. And then on my second bathroom, I made into a shower. Separated both, because my word for this year is like spaciousness. Okay. And simplicity. So this is what I need you to do. Get into a calm state, lay down, get in the tub, whatever makes you feel calm. Listen to some music. I want you to ask yourself the question, what am I so afraid of? But I want you to, here's the caveat. I want you to say it out loud. Have a dialogue. You already know. You already know. Sure, you could go to a therapist. Yes, it's very good to talk to people about this. I'm not saying don't, but here's a shameless plug for my book coming out in spring of 2023, which is called Say It Out Loud. Ask yourself, this is what I talk to yourself in third person. So Vasavi, what are you so afraid of before you get up on stage with open mics? Pause, listen. Well, I'm actually really afraid because I'm sitting here talking about my childhood experience being Indian, and everyone in the audience is white and they have no idea what it was like being Indian. And I don't want them to feel attacked, and I don't want them to think that I'm being mean. Okay, but you're not being mean. This is part of your own story that you have, turned into your own catharsis, for you to heal. You never know how many other people in the audience could actually benefit, even if they're not Indian. And if they are white, maybe they could benefit. Yeah, but what if they like make fun of me? What if they think I'm like a dork or this or that? And they're like, well, you are kind of dorky. Yeah, you're right. I am kind of dorky. You see how that goes?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just having the dialogue with yourself out loud. You already know there are two parts of you here. There's you who knows better. There's a part of you that just needs to have reassurance from you that you have her back or you have his back, right? The child in me does not trust me as the parent to show up, right? Like my inner child is looking for me to be a mother and father. And why would my inner child trust me? I've let her down and betrayed her so many times. So we're rebuilding the relationship that we have within ourselves. So think about it, right? Do you have someone in your life who's inconsistent? Like 1 minute they're awesome, next minute they're a total asshole. You don't trust them. You don't trust them. Right? Why should your inner child trust you? How many times have you shut your inner child up? How many times have you drowned your inner child in vodka shots and God knows what else, and just shut her up by just stuffing her with food or binging on Netflix? She doesn't trust you to soothe her. She trusts you to shut her up. So you're rebuilding a relationship with your inner self, with your inner child who just wants to partner with you and have fun. You don't need to kill her or him off. You need to talk to her. You're rebuilding the relationship that you severed with yourself because of the adults in your life who didn't know any better.
All right, Vasavi, where can our listeners connect with you? I know they're like, okay, how can I work with Vasavi? So where do you want to send our listeners to?
I would like to send them to, well, if I know the people listening really want to learn how to monetize the mic, I do have a free masterclass replay on camera confidence training. I will send you the link, all your listeners. And then if you want to work with me, there are ways to work with me, but the most exciting is March 1st, kicks off my Camera Confident Accelerator. It is an 8-week program, group and one-on-one, which are pure fire, 4 one-on-one calls with me. And yeah, let's get you confident from the inside out. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh, having a one-on-one call with Vasavi sounds incredible. So I highly recommend. And did you mention the websites? We'll make sure that's in the episode description. But
sorry. I did not even do that. Yeah. I'm just like, yeah. So if you go to vasavikumar.com/mastermind, you can apply for the accelerator. If you want the replay, you can go to vasavikumar.com and you'll see it right on my site. You can download the replay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This was absolutely incredible.
Thank you, Jessica.
you.